सरस्वती नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नायष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतिसे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्याय देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कं करोति वाचालं पंगं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं श्रीआनन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् ओम पवित्रो पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सा बाह्य अभ्यन्तरं शुचि श्री विष्णु श्री I thank each and every one of you for kindly joining today's Bhagavatam session. I thank Praveen Prabhuji for giving me an opportunity to speak on this. I also thank Subara Prabhuji and Lilananda Prabhuji and all other devotees who are inspiring me to take up the various kinds of services. Hare Krishna. Though I am not qualified, I am trying to speak whatever seniors have spoken, the parampara is speaking. In this attempt, if I am making any mistake, please forgive me. I'm trying to repeat whatever the seniors are repeating. So especially today's session is for my self-realization. I have been complacent in my sadhana. So this serves as a reminder for me to take up my service seriously. So today we are speaking about the important limbs of bhakti. As we all know, see, there are 64 limbs, out of which 5 are much more potent. So today we all know all these things, but it is good to remind each and every one of us about all these aspects. So today we are speaking about the sadhu sangha, the glories of associating with the devotees. So today mainly we'll be taking from the Aila Gita section, where Uddhava asks various questions and Krishna answers him, out of which one important thing Krishna tells about is Aila Gita. So what is the sadhu sangha? The divine association. As we all know in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kai, lavamatra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hai. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. So before going to this, our presentation starts from chapter 11, 26, canto 11, 26th chapter and 26th verse. So before going to that, let us see what is the basis, what had happened before this. What did Aila? Aila is nothing but another than King Pururava. As we all know, King Pururava was utterly associated with Urvasi. He is so much attached. And we all know that Urvasi leaves him and he runs from Urvasi. He for Urvasi. He performs various tapasyas to obtain that Urvasi. So after that, he realizes what is the purpose of the human life. Then he speaks about the Aila Gita. This is being told by Krishna to Uddhava. So before that, we will see Hey Krishna, can you see that chapter?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So quickly we will see the first. What is the first 26, 25 verses is talking about? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, having achieved, Hare Krishna, that having achieved this human form of life, which affords one the opportunity to realize me, and being situated in my devotional service, one can achieve me, the reservoir of all pleasure and the supreme soul of all existence, residing within the heart of every living being. As we all know, we are all looking for happiness. Fortunately, we all got a human birth. Krishna is saying, having achieved this human birth, what is our duty? We have to realize who we are, what is our association with the Krishna. A person fixed in transcendental knowledge is freed from conditioned life by giving up his false identification with products of the material nature. By seeing these products as simply illusion, he avoids entanglement with modes of nature, although constantly among them, because the modes of nature and their products are simply not real. He does not accept. So one should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another. The following song was sung by a famous emperor Pururava when deprived of his wife Urvasi. He was at first bewildered, but by controlling his lamentation, he began to feel detached. When she was leaving him, even though he was naked, he ran after her just like a madman and called out in distress, "Oh, my wife, oh, terrible lady, please stop." Although for many years Pururava had enjoyed sex pleasure in the evening hours, still he was not satisfied by such insignificant enjoyment. His mind was so attracted to Urvasi that he did not notice how the nights were coming and going. King Aila said, "Alas, just see the extent of my delusion. This goddess was embracing me and held my neck in her grip. Heart was so polluted by lust that I had no idea how my life was passing. That lady cheated me so much that I did not even see the rising or setting of the sun. Alas, for so many years I passed my days in vain. Alas, although I am supposed to be the mighty emperor, the crown jewel of all kings on the earth, just see how my bewilderment has rendered me a toy animal in the hands of women. Although I was a powerful lord with a great opulence, that woman gave me up as if I were no more than a insignificant blade of grass. Still, naked and without shame, I followed her, crying out to her like a madman. Where are my so-called great influence, power, and sovereignty? Just like an ass being kicked in the face by his sea ass, I ran after that woman who had already given me up. What is the use of big education or practice of austerities and renunciation? And what is the use of studying religious scriptures, of living in solitude and silence, if, after all, one's mind is stolen by the woman? To hell with me. I am such a fool that I did not even know what was the good for me, although I arrogantly thought I was highly intelligent. Although I achieved the exalted position of the Lord, I allowed myself to be conquered by women as if I were a bullock or jackass. Even after I had served the so-called nectar of the lips of Urvasi for so many years, my lusty desires kept rising again and again within my heart and were never satisfied, just like a fire that can never be extinguished by the oblations of the ghee poured. Who but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lies beyond the material perception and is the Lord of the self-satisfied sages, can possibly save my consciousness, which has been stolen by the prostitute. Because I allowed my intelligence to become dull, and because I failed to control my senses, the great confusion in my mind did not go away, even though Urvasi herself gave me wise counsel with well spoken words. How can I blame her for my trouble when I myself am ignorant of my real spiritual sense? I did not control my senses, and so I am like a person who mistakenly sees a harmless rope as a snake. What is the polluted body anyway? So filthy, full of body odors. I was attracted by the fragrance of the beauty of the woman, but what are these? What are those so-called attractive features? They are simply a false covering of illusion. One can never deride. Here, this is a very most important two slokas. One can never decide whose property the body belongs to. Does it belong to one's parents who have given birth to it, to one's wife who gives it pleasure, or to one's employer who orders the body around? Is it the property of the funeral fire or of the dogs and jackals who may ultimately devour it? Is it the property of the indwelling soul who partakes in happiness and distress, or does the body belong to intimate friends who encourage and help it? Although a man never definitely ascertains the proprietor of the body, he becomes most attached to it. Material body is polluted material form, heading towards a lowly destination. Yet, when a man stares at the face of the woman, he thinks, "What a good-looking lady! What a charming nose she has got, and she her beautiful child." What difference is there between ordinary forms and persons who try to enjoy this material body, composed of skin, flesh, blood, muscle, fat, marrow, bone, wool, urine, pus? Yet, even one who theoretically understands the actual nature of the body should never associate with a woman or with a man with attached to women. After all, the contact of the senses with their object inevitably escapes. Because the mind is not disturbed by what but which is neither seen nor heard. The mind of person who restricts the material senses will automatically be checked in material activities. And here Srila Prabhupada directly attacks us. We are all, it doesn't mean we should not be attracted to women. It is the other way around as well. Man in this material world, a man is attracted to women and woman is attracted to man. It equally applies to both genders, not only for one. So not only that, here the opposite gender or woman means the prakriti. So with everything in and around should also be considered like a woman. All the material things. So some persons are attracted to women. Some people are attracted to wealth, name, fame. All those things should be considered to be like this woman. So today, in certain advertisements, we also see that, especially the perfume ads. So when you put the perfume, the woman keeps running towards you. So this is what the whole material nature is all about. The attraction towards the opposite gender, association with the opposite material nature. So every one of us are seeking some kind of association. So single person cannot enjoy himself. We are all pleasure seeking. We are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. We are part of Satchitananda Vigraha. We are all looking for happiness. So we cannot have happiness individually. Sitting idly in one room, meditating on some light, we cannot become happy. We want to exchange with other person. So we somehow or the other we seek some kind of association. So our devotional service depends upon the association which we are holding. Are we holding the sadhu sangha, or we are still holding on the material creation? So here, King Pururava, after realizing himself that this body is it belonging to family, friends, or the soul, he is unable to ascertain whose body is, who is the owner of this body. But at the same time, we are all attached to this body and this bodily resignations. So we have to understand that we are the souls. We are eternally the parts and parcel of Krishna, servitors of the Krishna. So that comes only through the sadhu sangha. So the 26th verse starts about, you are what you associate with. So it is said, show me your friends, I can tell you who you are. So it is easily identifiable. But the nature of association we keep decides our own nature. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita 2.62 says, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Krishna. So the company that we keep all plays a significant role. So just like we all know, God appeared as Varaha to lead the Bhumi. So during the process of lifting the Bhumi, it is said in, I think in Padma Purana, Kurma Puran, it is Padma Purana Sampuran, it is said, by the association of Varaha with Bhudevi, a divine son has come out. His name is Naraka. He was divine earlier. But due to his association with Banasura, he became a demoniac. Naraka became demoniac, and later the Asura got associated, and we became Asura. So the son of the divine couple, supreme son of the divine couple, because of the bad association with Anasura, he became an Asura. And we know what Narkasura did. He kidnapped 16,000 young girls. Later, we all know that Narka was killed by Satyavama and Krishna. So here we have to see, even the divine child was not spared. We may think we are advanced in Krishna consciousness. We have so many things. But when we keep one bad associate with us, we can become a corrupt person. We can become the Narkasura. So our desires, our habits, our goals are often dependent on the association. Our behavior, everything are shaped by the association we keep it. So even the Shastra says we should associate with the culturally good people. Our in our Vedic times, and now also it is going on. Our elders used to say, you should associate with the good natured people. Don't go with the bad people who are not so good. So to develop good qualities in all of us, we should have a good association. Just like when we join our children in the schools. So in order that our child to become a good natured child, a good scoring child, we ask him or her to associate with the topper. You go and associate with the topper and learn from him so that you will get a good marks. So the good association matters. Suppose if the child is associated with the last bench student who is not so conducive for education, as our child excel in education? No. So we encourage our child to be associated with the top ranker. So and fundamentally, our nature is decided by the culture around us. So recently, when I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, the nature. So a person is decided by the nature, nurture, and culture. The nature which comes because of the karma. The nurture which is given by the parents. The culture which is decided by the association. So these three plays a vital role in shaping of one's life. That we all know how Prahlad has become Prahlad. Prahlad became Prahlad because of association with Narada Muni. We all know that. Because of his association, he took the instructions from the Narada. So here, when we speak about association means from where we are taking inspiration. What is our source of inspiration? Prahlad, though being in a situation of demonic family, he mentally took the association of Narada Muni. And that's why he could invoke the blessings of Narasimha. So it doesn't matter what is our surroundings is, but what inspiration are we taking from? That is our real association is all about. That's why the Holy Scriptures. Therefore, repeatedly recommend that we avoid bad association and keep good association. So we are all tormented by senses. We have various senses like eyes, nose, mouth, touch, all these things. So senses require active engagement. There are some class of spiritualists, they say that you should control your senses. You should control mind of your senses. But it is not possible. Senses require active engagement. That's why in case either it's material or spiritual. So when we engage our senses in our spiritual sadhana, then we can control our senses. Just like in the example of Vishwamitra Muni, he was trying to artificially control his senses, but by the small tinkle bell of Menaka, he fall from that position. But at the same time, we also see Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was also allured by a great prostitute. He was extremely beautiful, but he did not budge for her. Why? He was tasting the holy names, tasting the nectar of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. So he was associated with the holy name. Though they externally they are devoid of association, but Haridas Thakur is associated with the holy name. Whereas Vishwamitra Muni was associated with his material strength. This is what the difference is. The association in the spirituality, we take it the right spirit. Whatever Maya comes in various ways, in the form of a woman, in the form of name, fame, etc. But our senses will be restrained. So we have to engage our senses in the of Krishna. So next is that the benefit of having that association is destruction of the material attachments. So the sadhu sangha destroys all our material attachments, reduces one's inspiration to enjoy sense, as we have seen about the example of Haridas Thakur. So, as we know, when we taste the higher, we leave the taste which is lower. It is impossible to leave whatever taste we have without experiencing a higher taste. So, spirituality and association gives us an inspiration to enjoy, so to reduce our enjoyment for sense gratification. Individually, we cannot train our senses. Recently, we all have seen that in the case of Pandavandana Nirjala Ekadasi. So those who are associated there, those who are associated physically doing this Ekadasi, they could chant 92 rounds, 108 rounds. But whereas I could not do it. I could only do around 20 before at 5. To be honest, I would admit, but I could not do it. Beyond 24, I could not do it. So this is the power of association. Where the energy came from is because the association. Seeing everybody, we get the enthusiasm to do that. Increases our inspiration to serve and get attached to Krishna. As we all see what is happening in our Gachibowli Satsang. So there are various kinds of services. There is youth preaching going on. There are other sessions going on. From Sunday morning sessions at 2 locations going on. We can see how our satsang is expanding. How many people are coming into services. Because we are all associated. We are all coming regularly to the association. We are getting that inspiration. That's why it is said in 26th sloka, an intelligent person should therefore reject all bad association and instead take up the association of the saintly devotees, whose words cut off the excessive attachment of the one's mind. So Guru is saying it. Instead of having that material association, what does material association give? It gives us temporary happiness. So he was happy with Urvashi for a certain time, but she left. It was temporary. The happiness was temporary. Then he got affected by that. But we also have certain attachments, material attachments. When that goes away, we feel rejected. So when we are associated with the devotees, they remind us what is it all about? What is our aim of life? Our goal is to attain Goloka, to attain the lotus feet of Krishna. When our goal is to that higher extent, whatever troubles are coming in our life, they are insignificant. Who gives us the reminder? Only devotee. In the last satsang, when Lilananda was explaining about 12th chapter, 13th verse and 14th sloka, I guess. So he qualities of devotees. So we should understand, devotees understand that any pain is coming because of the bad karma, because of our own faults. We have already seen. Gururava is also saying what wrong is in the Gurvasi. There is nothing wrong with the Gurvasi. It is me who has forgotten my identity and chasing after Gurvasi. I have forgotten my spiritual nature. I am to be blamed. So we have to be blamed for whatever situations are happening or whatever things are happening. So this increases our interest to serve. My goal is to go to Goloka, to serve the Supreme Lord. So when we are associating with the devotees, we get such inspiration. The worship of the devotee is greater than the direct worship of Krishna. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhajan. 11, 19, and 21. So this is what the glory of association is. It destroys our material attachment. Then he speaks about the Vaishnava behavior. So this devotee association invokes the Vaishnava behavior. Santo anapekshama chitta prashanta samadarshina nirmama nirakara nirdvandva nisparagraha. So here so many qualities of Vaishnava, behavior of the Vaishnava is given about. What is that? Anapeksha, not dependent on anything material. So we are all dependent on something. Presently, we are all dependent upon our materials, spend, etc. My family, my relatives, my friends, my power. So whenever I get a problem, I run for a higher, a politician or some other person who is having a nice fame. So we say, you know who is back on behalf behind me. So we show about politicians or some other things. But what happens when we come to Krishna consciousness, when we come to devotee association, we know that the real person behind me is Krishna. Krishna is my real strength. We should depend upon the Krishna. Sarva dharman paritejya mamekam saranam vraja. So we should have the dependence on Krishna. This is the first quality of a Vaishnava. So that is evoked when we are associating with the devotees. But Chitta, always conscious of Krishna. We should be always conscious of Krishna and never forget about Krishna. Prashantaha, completely peaceful. Whatever our material conditions may be, we are not even a devotee is spared. This world is dukhalayam and ashasvatam. Even the devotee faces the reversals, whatever problems we can name of. But only a devotee can cross this peacefully. Samadarshino, endowed with equal vision. So we all see, we are seeing in our material conditions, people are fighting for freedom of equality, right to equality. How does it come? The body level is every one of us is different. You, me, everyone, not even any person is equal. At the bodily level, we don't have that equality. But when we go inside, each and every one of us are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. We are all eternal. We are all the same spiritual spark. That is invoked only when we see it, when it's possible in association. Nirmamo, free from possessiveness. There is no possessiveness. So we, and the satsangs, what we will do? We give everything for the service of Krishna. Everything should be centered around Krishna. So we don't say that it is mine. It is Krishna's property, and I am the in charge of it. I am just a caretaker. There are so many sannyasi Maharaj who has done excellent services, revived so many temples, but when the time came, they walked away. They didn't say that because of me, this entire temple got, got elevated into limelight again. But when the time came, they just walked away. There are so many sannyasis in our movement. So this is Nirmamo. Nirhankara, free from false ego. My problem with us is we think that we are this body. That is our false. It's our false ego. We should see that we are the soul and to serve Krishna. That is removed in this satsang. Lilananda says, in that last class, he said, entire thing, entire correction, whatever correction we are due will happen only in satsangs. Don't leave satsang. If we go out of the satsang, there is no possibility of us being treated. We are in ICU. In ICU, we should be treated. It might be painful, but we have to stick to the association. We have to stick to the satsang, where actual correction happens. Nirdvandva, free from all material dualities of pain, pleasure, success, failure, and so on. Visparigraha, free from material greeds. So greed is what is creating problem. We should not have greed. We should have laulyam. We should not have lobam. Greed in spirituality should be there. Greed for material should not be erased. Out of these, all the qualities, we have seen 8 qualities. Main quality is Manchitau. Is fixing the mind on Krishna. Is the most important quality that makes one gradually. So we should attain, we should attach to the Supreme. Attach to the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is the first and foremost. The rest follows it. So this is what Purunava says in 27th sloka. So as we said, Manchitau. So how does we remember Krishna? By having the Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha. So in the association of the saintly devotees, there is constant discussion about Krishna. Odayante Parasparam. So what happens in Krishna? What happens in the association of devotees? Devotees like to discuss about Krishna. There's nothing except other things, not even politics. Politics or problems in our offices. These are not the things we should be discussing in the satsangs. In the satsang, everything should be centered around Krishna. Krishna Katha should happen. So I will share you the. So what does Krishna Katha do? 2.8.5. Pravishta Karna Randrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dunoti Samalam Krishna Sarilasya Yatasharat. The sound incarnation of the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is the Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self-realized devotee. Sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship and thus cleanses the dust of the material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like a autumnal rain upon pools of the muddy water. So, this is what happens when we hear about Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the sound incarnation, enters into our heart. What does he do? He goes inside our heart and cleanses it. So just like when we are cleaning our heart, cleaning our home, if a friend comes, he also comes and participates. friend comes, if it is a formal friend, he doesn't participate in the cleaning. He says, I will come later. But if he is a close friend, he also puts his hand and cleans the house, and it gives clean house faster. But our supreme friend, eternally he is our friend. Whatever body we are taking, he is our eternal friend. So when we recognize him as an eternal friend, he sits in our heart and he starts cleaning it. So this is the process. So what we have to do, only we have to do is open our ears. That is the only small thing we can do. We are given 2 ears and 1 mouth. We have to hear twice and then speak. So we have to focus on our hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Sparanam, Adasya. So first comes Shravanam. So when we actively hear, Krishna enters through our ears and cleanses our heart, and the dust, accumulated dust, is cleared. Just like the example, you can see Guru Maharaj, Prachetas, Prahlad. What happened when they got the association of the Lord? What did they ask? Rupa went for a position higher than his grandfather Brahma. Prachetas was also like that. So what happened when they associated? They asked the opportunity of a pure devotee. Such a self, these are exalted devotees. What to speak of people like us? Are we greater than Dhruva? Are we greater than Prahlad? To be away from the association of the devotees? They are asking to hear Krishna Katha is what is the real association. This is only possible when we come to such. So one who associated with them is certainly purified of all sinful reaction and sinful proclivities. So initially, we may not be so much interested. Sitting for 2 to 3 hours is real austerity. Possible, but initially. But when we regularly make a practice, associate, come to satsangs, then the natural taste for Krishna will happens. Natural taste for Krishna Katha happens. There are so many satsangs. They had satsang Krishna Katha for 24 hours. They forgot the time. Forgot the entire time. So such is the nature of the Krishna Katha. Possible. But when we regularly associate with the case. So Lord Kapila says in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25, in the association of the pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced in the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion begins. So when we associate, slowly our material tendency starts to reduce. The cleaning happens. When that cleaning happens, our real devotion starts, and devotion starts to begin. But sometimes we don't have a physical association. There may be such situations. Either we are out of the town, or we are not in the position to come to satsang. So it is said, Vapu Seva and Vani. Vapu and Vani. Yes, when we have the opportunity to physically meet, that is the first thing we have to give prioritize. We have to physically associate. But when it is not happening, we can take the oral reception. Vani Seva. We cannot have association with our spiritual master regularly. We all think that I need association with spiritual master. No, it is not possible, especially in today's days. Srila Prabhupada got association to twice or thrice in his life from his spiritual master. But what he did, he took the instruction of his spiritual master for his life and soul to preach the message of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam to the Western countries. He did not have association. So we should not expect our physical association with the spiritual master, but we should hear his lectures, take instructions, and make it as life and soul. There are two ways. Vapu means physical presence. Physical presence sometimes appreciable and sometimes not. But Vani continues to exist eternally. The sound vibration, instructions, whether we are listening to lecture online, there are so many YouTube lectures. So we can go and hear. We can go to ISKCON Desire Tree and select one topic from the speaker and make a notes. What is stopping all of us? So, what is stopping from Monday to Saturday? Is only satsang only on Saturday, Sunday? No, it says real satsang is between Monday to Saturday, where we are taking inspiration from. What are we doing? Whether we are listening to the lectures or not, whether we have Bhagavatam, are we reading it? So these are all also association. This is entire association of so many acharyas. Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. So we should associate with Bhagavatam. Ye yatamam prapadyate. How we associate with Bhagavatam, similarly Krishna associate. Okay. Because these are non different. So after that, another important thing is achieving bhakti by Krishna. We get bhakti. We all are seeking for bhakti. Now, devotion, association is bhakti by Krishna. Taye shrinavanti gayanti hi anumodanti chadata matpara sraddhanascha bhakti vinadanti devai. Whoever hears Shravan, Ayanti, chants, adanti, adrita, respectfully. Adrita is respect. One should have respect towards Krishna, towards Krishna Katha. One who hears and glorifies, chants, and Anumodan takes to the heart. These topics of Krishna becomes faithfully dedicated to me, Parau, and achieves my devotional service. So, how are we getting it? By hearing and chanting with sincerity, with respect, faith. You should have the Shraddha. All these things comes only in the association. Without that, it's impossible. The hearing, chanting doesn't come out. Then if that doesn't come out, we cannot get the devotional service. So hearing from the advanced devotees of Krishna saves from the ocean of material experience. When one obeys the order of the bona fide guru, the polluted workings of the mind are checked. One sees things as in new spiritual light and blossoms the propensity for selfless loving service to the Lord, which gives the fruit of the Krishna name. So when we hear from the devotee, what is that? Getting a fruit of Krishna name. So here we should understand that Krishna Katha is not an exercise for mind. It is not for information gathering. So there are physical exercises. So when you do physical exercises, our muscles get strong. So we get some biceps or thing. Similarly, if you do intellectual exercise, like getting information. Okay, our brain has certain ridges like this. So it is scientifically proven that when we gain more and more knowledge, the number of ridges gets increased. Our intellectual quotient gets increased. But Krishna Katha's goal of Krishna Katha is not to increase our intellectual quotient. It is not for our intellectual exercises. It is not to show the intellectual propensities. Oh, I am so much learned. Whatever you ask me, all the slokas I can tell. All the 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita I can recite. From first to last, last to first. This is not the goal of Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha should be taken to the heart. We have to put it into our practice. Take one sloka and see how we can apply it in our life. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati. Let us take for example this sloka. I can offer whatever food I am cooking for Krishna. Flowers I can offer for Krishna. So from there, our service to Krishna starts increasing. Slowly it gets increased. So we should take it into our hearts. That's why it is said, no more than think. Very much important. No more than one should take the instructions of the spiritual master and the devotees to their heart and apply it in our life. So then who is a devotee? What is the qualification of a devotee or a guru? It is a speaks in the mood of a servant. Guru should speak in the mood of a servant. I am a servant speaking on behalf of Krishna. Not that I am Krishna. I am a servant of Krishna. He doesn't think himself to be the greatest scholar. He is not independent deliverer. The Guru doesn't think that he is an independent. I can deliver so many people. No, he is dependent upon his previous Guru and upon Krishna. So the humility. The humble speaker becomes appreciated. We should have that humility. So who can assimilate all these things? When only the humble speaker or the humble listener. So that's why examples of Maitreya, when we used to see the Bhagavatam, Maitreya was very eager for association with the Vidura. Suta Goswami was very enthusiastic towards discussion about in Shaunaka association. There are so many devotees. So what they say, it is the divine arrangement that a speaker and listener are coming together. That is there in the Canto 1. I don't remember the chapter, but it's in the Canto. The speaker and the listener, they are coming together by the Krishna's grace, not by our own speaking capacity or listening capacity. So seeing the so many people. So in Saunaka association, there are so many. When Sukadeva Goswami was speaking, there are so many people. It is not on the number, but seeing the people who are eager for listening, that makes the speaker to speak more. How eager I am a listener, how eager I am listening, makes the speaker to speak more. That's the humility. So this is possible only in the association. So proper consciousness. Whenever we are having the satsangs, we should have a proper consciousness. But speaker should have a proper consciousness, and listener should also have the proper consciousness. Whatever speaker is speaking, it is the Krishna Kada coming. It is giving a purity. For my purification, it is coming. We should be in such a consciousness and listen what the speaker is speaking. Take to the heart and apply it in our life. And then Parasparam Kuttana Pavana Bhagavat Yacho Mito Gatir Mitastunor Nivrute Mita Atmanau. One should learn how to associate with the devotees. We should all learn how to associate with the devotees of the Lord by gathering with them to chant the glories of the whole God. This process is the most purifying. As devotees thus develop their loving friendship, they feel mutual happiness and satisfaction. In Nectar of Instructions, we have seen we should open our heart to one. Confidentially, we should open in our satsangs. We should have one friend in the satsang to whom we can open our heart and discuss freely. And what happens? So loving relation happens, and we are mutual friendship, mutual happiness also. And thus encouraging one another, then they give up material sense gratification, which is the cause of all suffering. The Krishna Bhakti is so pleasing that pure devotee can't desire anything except that love. Krishna Bhakti is so pleasing. After achieving that, there is nothing we require. That's what you see in the case of Dhruva Maharaj. So he was speaking, is after when he got the darshan of Vishnu, what did he say? All the while, I was running after the broken pieces of glass when I have a diamond in front of me. Krishna Bhakti is such a diamond. So when we get that alignment, everything will become a glass pieces, broken glass piece. After achieving bhakti, what more remains to be accomplished for such a perfect devotee? Bhaktiya lavado shaddo kim anvad avichita 11:26:30. Only in the association we get an opportunity. So we are having this Bhagavatam sessions every Saturday and Sunday. Why it is being conducted? What is the strength behind that? Because we are associated. We are regularly associating with that, all of us. That's why these Bhagavata classes are going on. We are getting an opportunity to discuss about Krishna. So that is the beauty of that. A devotee doesn't even require liberation. Sayujya, Sarishti, Samipya, Salokya, Sarupya. These are like a hell for the devotee. So what does devotee aspire for? Devotee only aspire for the service of the Lord. Where does service come? It comes only in the association with the devotee. So one gets the opportunity to serve the devotees. Once theoretical, so what happens when we do service? Whatever theory we are listening, all these things we will be theory if you don't practice. This practice comes when we are serving, when we are serving the devotees. So our theory will become practical reality, becomes realization. What is it? Called self-realization. Otherwise, what is the use of knowledge? It is said that a knowledge which is not useful, which is not applied, is like a dog's tail, which is not fit to shoe the insects or to cover its private. Dog's tail cannot do anything. And knowledge which is not applied is such a dog's tail. The knowledge, when applied, is called the realization. That comes only when we serve the devotees. By serving the devotees, one's dullness, fear, ignorance are destroyed, just as a cold, fear, darkness are eradicated for one who has approached the sacred fire. Just like we see the conversation of Vidura to Maitreya. What is he saying? I understood the science of the soul. By the way, Vidura is Dharmaraj himself. He is saying to Vidura, Maitreya, just by the association of Maitreya, he could understand that he is the soul. What about we? We are not. Are we better than Vidura? Are we better than Yamaraj? So he's saying that he got the realization when he's associated with Maitreya. So we all should understand what is the power of association. And it is the safest boat. So we are all in samsara sagara. We are in the material ocean. We need to cross this. We need a boat. We cannot cross by our own strength. This devotee association is the safest boat. Sometimes the boat also shakes, but it is the safest thing. Because when we get into the boat, and the boat is also going here and there, don't think that this boat is going to drown. This devotee association, board of devotee association will never drown because Krishna is there inside that. Krishna, supreme spiritual master, is the captain of the ship. He is steering it. Just like yesterday, I shared one small snippet that a squirrel was entangled in the net, completely entangled. It was struggling, and the person is cutting that net. So similarly, we are all entangled in this network of illusion. We are all entangled in this network of illusion. One who is outside this net can only save us, can cut the knots. That is a spiritual master. Such a spiritual master is guiding this boat. So it is the safest. We can cross this material ocean in a matter of seconds. The peaceful devotees fixed in spiritual knowledge are the ultimate shelter, giving a strong boat that rescues those who are repeatedly rising and falling and drowning in the fierce ocean. So just like a food is the life of all creatures, Krishna's devotees are only refused. So food, without food, we cannot live sustain for long. Without devotees, we cannot sustain in bhakti for a long time. Today we can say without association, I'm also chanting, I'm also hearing. That will not last for so long. So one by one, it will gradually goes out. So that inspiration to chant, inspiration to serve, inspiration to do anything in bhakti happens only in the association. So bestows a spiritual vision. शांतो दिशन्ति चक्षुंसि बहिर्अर्कः समुत्थिता देवता बन्धवा सन्त आत्मां एव च. My devotees bestow divine eyes, whereas the sun allows only external sight, and that only when it is risen in the sky. My devotees are only real worshipable deities and real family. They are one's own shell, and ultimately they are non-different. In one of the sloka, where Lord Shiva speaks, among all the worships, worship of the Supreme Lord Krishna is the highest. Among out of even more highest is worship of this devotees. Here Krishna is saying to Uddhava, what is the glory of these devotees? They give the Shastra Chakshu. By our material sense, we cannot understand. By material eyes, we cannot see. Our senses are prone to illusion. Our eyes cannot see for long distance, or we are illusioned. We are having cheating propensities. With our material senses, we cannot understand what Krishna is. So devotees, what they do, they give us the divine things. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Premanjana ointment. So who has that ointment? The ointment is in the hands of the devotees. The ordinary sun, without this sun, we cannot see. Otherwise, everything is darkness. So either the sun should fall over our eyes on the object, then only we can see clearly. This happens only when in the daylight. But my devotees, Krishna's devotees, they are available 24/7. The divine eyes makes us see even the darkness, even in ignorance. My devotees are the only real worshipable deities and real family. So, if in order to please Krishna, we have to please the devotees. Whatever we are doing, he said, Samsiddhir Karitoshni. If we want to please Krishna, we have to associate devotees, respect his devotees, and worship his devotees. Because the entire paraphernalia, whether you take it Aarti plate of devotees, Krishna Katha, they are not different from Krishna. They are equal to Krishna. So let us eagerly take this opportunity to associate with the saintly devotees of Lord Krishna. So we may have so many reasons to not come to the satsangs. The reasons are nothing but my ego to not go to the satsang. They are just my false ego saying that don't go to satsang. Don't. If it's a genuine reason, yes, it is okay. But if we have the opportunity, then we should always endeavor to have association, serve them to the best of our capacity, and to Krishna. This is our only aspiration. This is what Uddhava, Krishna is giving to Uddhava. But the first and foremost thing we should do in bhakti is association, and association. Rest, everything should follow. At this time, I'll open this forum for your suggestions, feedback, questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful lecture. And you really gave a very good example of association, probably for the Nirjala Ekadasi. And I can say for sure that, without association, none of us could have done that. It's very, very difficult. Even regular chanting at home will be a big ordeal without association. And as you said, for sure, everybody should attend satsangs without fail, Prabhuji. Without that, will not be able to progress in our spiritual path. And we should give highest, utmost importance to association with respect to any means. May it be service, may it be our weekly satsangs, anything, Prabhuji. And if possible, and if things are very well, physical association is the best. And people should really spring into action for any service. Without that, in my experience, it's difficult to progress forward. And you took very good examples in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, actually I have some doubt. Even I have some answer also, but I just want to clarify this one. Prabhuji, we are the part and parcel of Krishna only, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Then why we become so corrupted and impure?
Why we become corrupted, impure?
Yeah, and become impure, right? Because we are the part and parcel of Krishna only. Because Krishna is pure.
Yes, yes. So I also had the same doubt. I'm also in search of the same answer to the same questions where I got different answers. So one thing, it is said somewhere or the other, it is time immemorial where we got envious. Somehow we got envious of Krishna. That is the one reason we have fallen here. We may ask why we became envious, why this impurity has come. I don't remember what Maharaj was saying. So we have fallen in the ditch. Presently, we are all in the ditch. So we are struggling to come out. So presently, our focus is to come out. When we come out, there we analyze why I have fallen there. So this answer can be only be given when we reach Krishna. It's not there here. Cannot be. Can say envy or something else. But our present point is, how should I come out of this ditch? Then when we go to Krishna, we can ask the same question to Krishna. Krishna, why did they allow me to fall? That can be only be given by Krishna. This I don't remember which Maharaj was speaking. This was the answer I got. Somewhere or the other, we became enemies.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
With your permission, I also want to quote another example, Prabhuji.
Yes, Master, please go.
So, just because we came from a pure source does not guarantee that we will remain pure throughout, Prabhuji. Radhesham Prabhuji's lecture had this example, and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's lecture, also one of the lectures I heard this. Like pure rainwater. When rainwater drops from up in the clouds, it's very, very pure. As it starts to reach the ground, it catches all the dust and contamination and becomes impure. We cannot think that, okay, it came from pure clouds, it must be pure even now. So just because we are part and parcel of Krishna does not ensure that we remain so throughout the life. The very fact that we are here is a proof that we rejected Krishna and wanted to enjoy independent of him. That's the reason we are here. Granted, we are part and parcel, and hence must be pure, and that's the only hope, right? That's the only hope. But we are contaminated, and that is also absolutely true. We have caught all the dust and impurities as we fell through, and now we are here. Now the whole idea of Krishna consciousness is to remind ourselves of that purity and that connection. Cheto darpana marjanam bhavaha davagni nirvapanam. So there is this mirror that is covered with dust now.
Yes.
And the whole devotional process and Krishna conscious process is to clean that mirror of the dust, just so we can see the clear mirror. And when that happens, we are pure. Even the kids, Prabhuji, when they're born, they're so innocent. They don't know any lies, any cheating, any no propensity, no bad propensity. As they grow up, it is not to be confused that just because they were pure as children, they'll remain so. As Prabhuji gave in the example of the asura that was born out of a divine couple, that kid must have been pure because of the divine couple being the parents, but it didn't remain so. So yes, we are part and parcel, and we are contaminated. Both are equally true, Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Mataji, one more doubt. You see, when we go to Golka, right? When we are with Krishna, right? We have the transcendental body, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
at that time, how our thought comes that we want to enjoy independent. Because if we have a tinge of any material desire, we cannot go back to Godhead, right? So how come when we have very good association there, very nice association, God is there, then how come it comes in our mind that
Prabhuji,
at
this
that
is
time?
also in one of Radhesham Prabhuji's lecture. Actually, I'll try to send the link to it in BG 2020. That is because of the free will that is given to
Yes.
us by Krishna, Prabhuji. You can, even in that state, he is not keeping us bound, Prabhuji. He wants us to choose him even there out of our own free will. Just because we became transcendental and through some association chanting devotees, we went back,
Mhm.
does not mean that one second, Prabhuji.
Sure, Mataji.
Even if you are not attached to Krishna, you can. There is a chance, even in the Goloka, that I may not attach with Krishna. When that situation comes, we will be put into this material world. Krishna tests each and everyone, even in the Goloka. He tests gopis as well. But gopis, they are all, whatever condition may be, they're attached to Krishna. That's why they don't fall. There are some people, some souls, somehow they don't get attached to Krishna, even though in Goloka. So we come back to this material. Once we taste this material world, taste the difficulties. That's like an example of a child putting finger in fire. Once he experiences that burning sensation, he will not touch it. Similarly, the soul, when it comes to the material world, if it really learns lesson from it, that this material world is not good for me, then it will not come. It will attract to Krishna only, and then it will get attached to Krishna's lotus feet, and it will not come back to this material. He gives a taste how this material world is. It is not fit for you. There are so many such souls as well.
Yes, Prabhuji. But Prabhuji, when we die, right, we forget everything, right?
Yes,
Then how we can remember what we suffered in the material world and this one? See,
the soul never forgets. We are on the top gross body. Between the gross body and the soul, there is a subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. It is made of mind, intelligence, and ego. The
yes,
mind is where our desires or everything, memory gets registered. It travels from body to body. But what happens when we get another body? Certain impressions are made forget. Doesn't mean that we forgot. Where Krishna says, Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam. He gives a forgetfulness and he gives a remembrance. So what forgetfulness he gives and what remembrance is up to that body level. If you are not a devotee, he gives remembrance of our desires which is fit for the body and makes us forgetful of our real identity. But when we are surrender to Krishna, he gives a remembrance of our spiritual identity. It doesn't mean that we have forgotten. It is all are there. That's why we are getting all the current reactions. All what happens. We do not know what did we do. It is not that we attach because I did this, I'm getting this. It doesn't matter. We have done something wrong, we are getting bad. We have done something good, we are getting good results. But whatever may be, good or bad, we are suffering in this material world. We have to do akarma, spiritual, then go back to Goloka. So don't think that I have done what wrong did I do? I think Lilananda Prabhu explained it during the Narsimha Chaturdashi festival. So don't ask why do things happen, why bad things happen to me. Instead, we should ask what good things devotees do, what good things great people do when calamities happen. What should we do? Take shelter of Krishna. Forget about why we have done it. What we have to do now. That's much more important.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Staying in association is the only solution.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji, just adding on top of what Praveen Rathod Prabhu was asking. In as per scriptures, it is mentioned that once you go back home, when we say back home, we were there at that time. But at one time we were there and we are going for the first time. Second time we are going there to the location. But it is mentioned that once we go for the second time, we will not return back. We will not return to the material world. But as Suma Mataji explained, even in the Goloka also you are having a free will. So it boils down to one point where even for the third time, if we are not able to exercise our free will of not choosing Krishna, even in Goloka, there should be ideally a third time fall down to material world, right? But scriptures say once you go back second time, you will not return to material world again.
That doesn't mean simply going. It's not a way. We see that. Suppose I am going from here to some other place. I am going to Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
From Bangalore, I don't come back.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that it means physical as well. But are we fit there? Today we may be fit to go Goloka. But if you don't exercise the free will, there is always a possibility. If we don't surrender our free will to Krishna, we will come back again. It's possible. Doesn't mean that, oh, today I have reached Goloka, now I can do anything. Scripture, Bhagavad Gita, you said, Janma Karma Cha Vidivyam, Yovev Tatata, you said, if you learn about me, you will not come back. Today I came here. Now, Krishna, you don't have a right. You cannot say that.
Okay. So ideally, even for the third or fourth time also, there is a possibility that we may fall down, right?
There is a possibility. Either we are choosing Krishna or Maya. If you choose Krishna, you will be in Goloka. Otherwise, you will end in material world.
Because actually, I have some different thoughts though. Because somewhere I heard if we go back, probably that consciousness would be purified for the fullest. I'm not sure, but somewhere some acharyas mentioned that if you go back again, there is no possibility. When they never discuss,
Most of these cases, I think it is not possible because we have already put our hand in fire.
Yes.
We know fire burns.
Yes,
if you have that realization and experience, yes, you will not come back. But there is a possibility of misuse of free. There is a possibility. Might be a remote chance for the second time.
Okay, Prabhu.
But it's always possible.
Fine, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
That's what earlier Mataji was explaining. Cheto Darpana Marjana. Association. We are associated with our mind right now, Prabhu. Our soul is eternally pure. It is part and parcel of Krishna. It cannot be impure. But the soul is associated with the mind, which became impure. Mind is colored with so many red, green, yellow, blue colors. When the mind is pure, soul can see purely. Hare Krishna, Giriraj Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, is it audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Is it audible, Prabhu?
Yes, audible, Prabhu. I can hear you.
ఈ క్వశ్చన్ మీరు అంటే కృష్ణుడు మన కృష్ణ ఇస్ ఆల్రెడీ సెడ్ ఇన్ ద భగవద్గీత, రైట్? యద్ గత్వా నివర్తంతే తద్ధామ పరమం మమ, రైట్?
Yes, sir.
That is there, right? That sloka. That means when the soul going back home back to God, never return after complete purification,
Yes.
right?
After
Then
complete,
you are saying, yeah. Again you are saying, I mean, there is a chance to come back, remote chance. How to understand, bro?
again, it's a free will. As you said, complete. Suppose a certain thing. There is a statement in the Shastras. If you donate Bhagavad Gitas, you will have, I think, 100 lifetimes in Vaikuntha planet, spiritual world. But if you are in spiritual world, how are you coming? How is it only 100 lifetimes? By distributing simple Bhagavad Gitas, is it so simple? Krishna is saying 100 lifetimes you will be in Vaikuntha. But those who goes to Vaikuntha should not come back. But we are bound to come back after 100 lifetimes. So there is a chance there. Complete. There are two kinds of souls there: Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas. There are certain souls which are eternally, whatever situation may be, they choose Krishna. And other people, souls, they are always trying to choose Krishna. Where there are some souls which might reject Krishna. But there is a remote chance. It's because of the free will. Krishna will not touch with the free will. If there is a possibility of coming back again, but it is a remote chance. That simply going back to Goloka doesn't ensure that. I may be wrong, but with whatever limited knowledge I have, that doesn't get. This is guaranteed that he will not come back. But it is not a license that after going to Golaka, I will do whatever things. Even there, you may get. So we are all parts and parcel of Krishna. Then why did we come here? First of all, where did the contamination came from? In a pure place, somehow we got contaminated. Doesn't it happen next time?
So that's why, Prabhu, misuse of free will. That's why our free will is using for the Krishna service.
Yes.
And we are purifying. Then we are going back. Then where is the chance again? Come back. That's nothing. Anyway, we'll talk.
Only in the misuse, and no other way.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I add, Prabhuji? So,
Yes,
as
Prabhuji.
Santosh Aditya Prabhuji is saying, Prabhuji, nothing is guaranteed. Yes, you will go back. Conditions apply. You have to behave again properly. You have to behave again without envy. Right? There is no permanent ticket, Prabhuji. Yes, you will go back, but again, you have to behave properly and you have to do all the things that are explained in Shastras. So that's why Prabhupada only said that. I think this question is asked to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, why did we come back if it is a spiritual? Prabhupada said, first worry about where you are and how to get out of this, and not really worry about what happens there. Why will I, why did I come back? Why will I come back again? He said, just stop thinking about all that. Now you are here in the ditch, as Santosh Prabhu said, you're all in the ditch. First, let's figure out how to get out of here. Then we'll figure out other things. So
Yes.
that's my humble opinion. Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir. Our mission is to go back first.
Jai. Thank you, both of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
So, any other?
One thing I want to appreciate, Prabhu, Santosh Aditya Prabhu, you wonderfully prepared the slides, nicely quoted from different verses and from Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, connected to the topic. I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
All because of your all senior association, Prabhuji. Though I am not qualified, I myself is not following. Most of the times, it's not following. It's a reminder for me to what I should take. Hare Krishna so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I also thought it was very timely, and somehow I was thinking about it, Prabhuji. The reason was yesterday, Anandram Prabhuji and family were here with us. We had the great, fortune of hosting them for lunch, and it was so nice to see them after innumerable number of satsangs and sessions that we are together with Prabhuji. In-person association should not be and cannot be undermined. In all my humility, Prabhuji, I am telling this to myself, if not anyone else, Prabhuji. So every opportunity that we get to associate with a devotee in person, we should grab it. Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi was a very great occasion, and even if we can not be there for long, I mean the complete day, even if 1 or 2, or if people made efforts and attempts to get together with other devotees and chant, that would be very, very nice, Prabhuji. That would be really, really nice. Association in this virtual world is greatly undermined, and in fact we are taking comfortable refuge in the fact that I am in Zoom calls. I am in 6 Zoom calls in a week. That is also association.
Yes.
So why should I need to take the trouble of traveling to some place, getting some place, and meeting in person? That is a very that's a virtual refuge, Prabhuji. It's not a real refuge. In the absence of everything else, at least we are part of Zoom call. That is good. In the absence of everything else. But when there is an opportunity, nothing can replace in-person association. And all of us should contemplate on that. Otherwise, we are after Gnana and becoming Gnanis. And after the last session of Bhakti Shastri course, one thing is very clear. We did the course. I mean, we took a lot of trouble. We made a lot of Herculean effort to go through the entire course. But let us not think that if we get Gnanam, we get Bhakti automatically. It makes it easier and conducive to get Bhakti, but it is not the ultimate way. And Krishna has said it in many, 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 many different ways. And Acharyas have interpreted it in many, many clearer ways. So what gives us Bhakti, one of the main things is to see other Bhaktas, to see their ecstasy, to see their purity, to see their commitment. And that can happen only if we associate ourselves in person and do seva. So many opportunities are there for Rath Yatra,
Yes.
just 14 days remaining. And we had called for so many seva opportunities. All of us know who we are, and let's ask ourselves, did I even try? Did I try my best? Did I go out of my way to do some small thing for Jagannath? And if we haven't, time is still there, right? These are all the ways we can challenge ourselves, Prabhuji, instead of getting into a comfort zone and giving us all the cushions of virtual hopes and virtual positive thinkings. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It was a very apt topic, and as always, you did full justice, Santosh Aditya Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can we end up this session?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Anurad Pranam. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripasindhubhyo pattanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Ananta Koti Vaishnavebhyo. Tagore Premanande.
Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Hare Krishna.